Okay, this video is for the YouTube user Tiffany Doll, and this is a video response to the video she came out with called Finding and Explaining How Far Wicca Goes. Hello Tiffany Doll. When I saw your video, I just had to do a video response. I wasn't planning on doing a video today. I wanted to sit back and relax and watch some good cartoons on a television set here, but when I saw your video, I just had to do a video response. So this is my video response. Now, one of the things you said in your video is there are so many books on, beginner books rather, on witchcraft and Wicca. You're kind of wondering, does it even go any further than just the beginner books? And are the older covens or some of the guys who are ladies within the craft, are they hoarding information or keeping information from the masses because of oaths or whatever? I would say no. There are plenty of books out there on older schools of magic and the occult and witchcraft and Wicca. You just have to know where to look. So I figured I would do a video on this just to show you some of the books that I read. Now, first of all, let me say that this book here is one of the first books that I started reading on the craft, and it's called Mastering Witchcraft. Let me say that I'm a witch. I don't consider myself as being a Wiccan because a lot of my beliefs goes outside of the Wiccan read. It goes outside of standard practices that a lot of witches practice. So let me make that clear first. And this book is a perfect example of someone who follows the old religion. And by old religion, I mean the old religion before the 1950s, when Joe Gardner really put Wicca on the map. So this book here is definitely old school. And it has a lot of things that are different than your standard books on witchcraft. I mean, he talks about things like divination, preliminary preparations for, casting a circle or whatever, spells, but he also has in here counter magic and protection. He has a section on vengeance and attack, which is sort of controversial depending on who you talk to. He's a person that does not follow the Wiccan weed. And there's a section on the planetary hours and things of that nature. So this is definitely a older school of witchcraft, and if you're interested in something different, I would highly recommend you getting this book. Another book that's really good is Dorothy Morrison's book, Utterly Wicked. This is an excellent book, and I actually have a signed copy of it. If I can find her autograph. See right here. To Merlin Raven song. Dorothy is a great lady, and this book is about curses, hexes, and other unsavory notions. So this book is not your standard book on witchcraft, and it goes into things that some people might find a little offensive or whatever. Depends on who you talk about. Depends on who you talk to. I'm sorry. But this is an excellent book. Excellent book. And these are things that I think all witches should know. There's no saying that a witch that doesn't know how to hex does not know how to heal. So I think she definitely follows this here. And it's things that I think all witches should know. And I highly recommend this book. And if you're looking for something really different, you want to check this book out. And another book that you want to check out is Christian Days, which is Book of the Dead. An excellent book, because this book deals with necromancy, and this book has to do with communicating with the dead. And that's sort of like a lost art within the craft community today. A lot of people don't quite understand it, But this goes all the way back to the legendary Witch of Endor or Circe or any of those classical forms of witchcraft, where people would come to these people and they want to know what their dead relatives have to say as far as their life is going. You know, how can they help them? Because there's the old saying that, you know, the gods will help you, but the gods may be busy helping somewhere else. Who really cares about you? Who really wants to see you succeed in your life? It's your ancestors, your dead ancestors. And these people are with you forever. So what you want to do is you want to call on these ancestors for help. And this book is all about how to contact the dead of your ancestors and how to contact the dead, period. This is definitely not a one-on-one book. So if you are ready for some knowledge, some really deep knowledge on communicating with the dead and communicating with your ancestors, building yourself an altar to the dead, this is the book that you really should definitely check out. Even if you're not into this type of thing, if you want something different than standard Wicca that you seen and practiced over the years, then I would highly recommend this book. Also, any book by Christopher Penczak, even if it's a standard book, I would highly recommend it. This book here, The Outer Temple of Witchcraft, this is part of one of his series of books that he's putting out. It's an excellent book. I've actually done rituals, been in rituals with Christopher Penczak, and he's awesome. He's an awesome writer. He's an awesome witch. He's an awesome person who does rituals, and I would highly recommend you picking up anything that's written by Christopher Penczak here. Also, any books, I don't have the book handy, but any books that's written by Raven Gramancy I would highly recommend. He just came out with a book talking about I think it's called Old World Witchery, where he goes into the practices of witchcraft that of course goes further back than just Wicca or the things that you see on the shelves today that are saying, you know, what Wicca is or whatever. Also, on the subject of Italian witches, because he is a Strega, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this book, Aradia. If you haven't read this book, read it, and if you've read it, read it again. There's a lot of good information in this book, so I would recommend that book also. And there's other books on witchcraft that you should get, but these are some of my favorites. And if you're looking for something that's different, something that would really challenge you and challenge your beliefs, I would recommend you checking out these books and doing some deeper research in books that kind of goes outside of the box. I don't consider myself, I don't know if I said this before, but I don't consider myself as being Wiccan. I am a witch, and I consider my association or practice of the craft to be further, well, not further, to be older than the 1950s craft that Joe Gardner and Alexander Sanders practiced. So in that, I've had to look outside of the box myself. I had to do a lot of research and try to find books that were different than what I saw on the shelf. So they are out there. You just have to look a little deeper. And these type of things are not really hard to grasp either. And I know there's a lot of emphasis on being in a coven. When I first acknowledged that I was a witch, I always felt that I was a witch, but when I first started using the term or whatever, one of the first things is, oh, I'm a witch, I want to be in a coven. And which is cool. I didn't necessarily go out and look for a coven. Actually, a coven found me, and I've been in a coven for probably over 10 years now. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great way of learning the craft. But you can do just as much being a solitaire than what you can do with being in a coven. Not, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but a lot of the really deeper knowledge in magic you can learn by yourself. You don't necessarily have to have other people around you for that. As I said, that's me personally. Maybe some people need to have that interaction with other people, but I can see both ends of the spectrum. I can see how you can study by yourself and really make yourself a powerful witch and really an adept in magic by just studying by yourself. And I can barely speak. I can also see how it could benefit you to study with other people too, other people who are more knowledgeable than yourself. So you just have to go out there and do some deeper research and do some digging and finding about different books on witchcraft and the occult or whatever, because the information is out there. And one of the things I will say is a lot of times you have to go outside of witchcraft and just study magic. And when you do that, the magic that you study, you take that information and you bring it into your own spiritual practice within the craft. And that's something that I'm doing right now. Before, I wasn't that interested in hoodoo. I was always more interested in the Aleister Crowley approach to magic, and the fancy rituals and the garb and all that. I really wasn't into the folky side of magic. But the funny thing is as my magical practice has continued over the years, I find myself being associated with a lot of people who follow different paths. And when the opportunity came to me to study folk magic or to study hoodoo, what am I going to say? No. So now I'm studying hoodoo, and the funny thing is that a lot of the things that I'm being taught are things that I did already and I already knew. I just didn't know it was called hoodoo. So that's something that you also want to do. Also, as I said, you want to study magic outside of what is traditionally known as Wicca or witchcraft, and you can bring that back in. So hopefully this video helps. One of the things I will say is don't be so hard on Silver Ravenwolf or some of the other people who really had a hand in bringing the craft out of the shadows, because everyone plays their part. I don't present the craft as being fluffy bunny or twilightish or whatever. Maybe some people, that's their style or just their way of doing it or whatever. It's not my style, and I don't think it's your style either. And as I said, do a little research, and the feeling that I get by watching your videos is a lot of the stuff I think you intuitively know already. You're an old soul, Tiffany, and you have a lot of knowledge in you. And don't be discouraged that you don't necessarily find it in books. Do meditation. Keep making videos like this that people can respond to and write comments on. I think that would help also. Okay, anyway, hopefully that helps you out. Feel free to send me a message, comment on this video, or send me a message on Facebook or whatever. And until next time, love is law, and peace, Tiffany. Hope this helps.